Hey there everybody, Peter here, and I am shooting this video very early on a Tuesday morning, just before the release of my first OneMoreCastle.com article in my Pinball Alley series, and it covers, oddly enough, pinball for the NES. It was a fun journey slash excursion slash experience to be able to play through the game once again, put it through its paces. I had a couple of experiences or a couple of sequences that I forgot about, and you'll read about that in the piece. I'm not going to go overly technical with this video this morning. Is I'm hoping when you read it, you'll get a lot of technical value out of it, especially if you're a pinball fan. But what I did want to cover in this post-mortem video this morning is I wanted to talk about a couple of very important skill sets that pinball does teach, that sometimes people forget about or overlook when they talk about pinball. Of course, pinball is not the most complex of the pinball games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was the very first one released. The code itself is 30 years old, so there aren't a lot of bells and whistles there. There's no multi-ball, there are no bonus multipliers, there are no out-hole bonuses, there are no specials. But the important things to take away from pinball, especially if you're a novice pinball player or an up and coming pinball player, is that the game teaches flipper skills, how to aim your shots appropriately, and also some very basic shot strategizing skill or target strategizing skill in order to maximize your scores. I'll talk about the first, which are flipper skills. Uh, One of the ways that I'm most successful in pinball games that I play, especially the pinball arcade games for iPhone and for PlayStation 3 that I play, but also the Zen Studios pinball games, Pinball FX2, Zen Pinball 2, and by the way, not to plug it, Zen Studios didn't put me up to this, but Star Wars Pinball is fantastic. If you haven't bought it yet, haven't downloaded it yet, I highly recommend that you do so. It's fantastic. But in playing these games, one of my secrets to success is being able to understand where the ball is on a flipper and where the ball is going to go once it comes off the flipper when I press the flipper button. I'm able to execute cross table shots. I'm able to know based on where the ball is on the flipper where it's going to go, whether it's going to go up a ramp a certain way or whether it's going to be able to hit a rollover or a spinner. And these are things that NES pinball actually teaches in a very uncomplicated, very simple fashion. Because there aren't a lot of targets to go for, it's pretty easy to identify where it is that you want your ball to go. For example, in the top play field, the progressive target, which is in the upper left-hand corner, can be hit fairly easily with a straight trajectory shot from the left-hand flipper by just kind of hitting it straight up. And you'll learn by playing the game more and more where the ball needs to be on that flipper in order to execute that shot. The thing that's most important to understand about flipper skills is that once you're able to rest your ball on a flipper, uh, meaning if you hold the flipper up from its down position, you're able to kind of rest the ball between the hinge and the flipper itself. You have control at that point. Once you let that flipper down, the ball starts to slide down the flipper and you'll be able to pick out where it is that you want to go. If you want to shoot the ball across the table, you wait until the ball is toward the end of the flipper. If you want the ball to travel in a more northerly trajectory, then you want to wait until it's probably right around the center of the flipper. And then if you want to try and execute what I like to call a backup shot, then you keep it in that hinge area and try to hit it in the opposite direction across table. So pinball does teach those skills. It's rudimentary, but you do learn the more that you play and you understand the basic concept of flipper control. The other thing that you learn is accurate target shooting. Again, with the upper play field, you know what targets that you want to hit. If you want to hit that progressive target, you can execute that northern trajectory shot that I was talking about. If you want to hit the upper left rollover, then you want to do a cross table shot with the right hand flipper going up to the left. Um, and you know that if you miss that shot, you do run the risk of the ball going places that you don't want it to go, maybe hitting that bumper in the middle and kind of losing control or sight of where the ball goes. And especially in the lower play field when you're dealing with the bumper triangle, errant flipper shots can be your doom, so you have to be careful. So you do learn by trial and error how to make accurate target shots in order to increase your scores and in order to keep the ball in play as long as possible. And then to me, one of the most important skills that you'll start to learn playing pinball is you start to learn table strategy. What shots you need to make, what targets you need to hit, or rollovers you need to hit in order to increase your score quickly and effectively. I talk about these in the piece, but again, going back to the upper play field, uh, the progressive target that you can get up to 1,000 points per hit, that one is important. Also, depending on how high your progressive target is, you may decide to go for that upper left rollover, which is 2,000 points right off the bat. So you can certainly go for that shot if you haven't advanced the progressive target too much. And also, although I personally don't recommend this as a strategy, the slot machine wheel, which you can activate via the right hand rollover, is something you can go for, because if you get 3 7s in a row, that's 7,770 points, which boosts your score pretty quickly. Uh, so you start to pick out those targets, you start to understand how the table works, how it operates, what shots that you want to hit. You start to understand before long that you want to keep the ball in the upper play field, because once it drops to the lower play field, it becomes not only more difficult to keep it in play, but also once it drains, the return is over. And that's really tough. That hurts your not only your scoring potential, but also limits the amount of time that you can play. So you have to be careful there. And you can take this table strategizing skill into later games, like high speed, like Pinbot, understanding how to hit the freeway value in high speed, for example, by hitting the spinners, or orbits around the outside of the table, or being able to make the ramp shot and being able to run the red light, or in Pinbot, being able to hit the solar value with regularity, so you'll be able to hit the jackpot when you have multi-ball running. These are things that you can carry with you, and you can start to learn if you're a novice or intermediate player by playing pinball, believe it or not, even though it's a relatively simple game. So those are the skills you can learn. I do think that it's important, especially as a novice player or someone who's learning more about pinball as a skill, or wanting to increase that skill or improve that skill. It's actually a game worth playing and doesn't get nearly enough credit for teaching some of those core values without uh, overcomplicating things. So it's definitely worth playing even today, believe it or not. So I hope you'll like the article. Again, it should go up by Tuesday, late Tuesday morning, early Tuesday afternoon, I believe. And then after that, we have more pinball games to be covered, and the finale will be me ranking all of the pinball games from bottom to top, and that'll be a fun exercise to take part in. If you have questions, comments, things that you want to add about your pinball experiences, don't hesitate to leave a comment below this video, and I will respond to you when I can. Thanks very much for watching, you guys. I'm really excited for you guys to read the first piece. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm hoping you guys will like it. And I'm looking forward to shooting another video for you guys really soon.